I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order at 5:59, 55, or whatever. So we go ahead and make a roll call, please.
Mr. Katra? Mr. Markovitz?
Here?
Mr. Midley?
Here.
Mr. Sharma?
Here.
Mrs. Wales?
Here.
All right. It's time for public participation. So do we have anybody here that wants to talk to the board about any issues, cases, or anything but not related to a case tonight? Nope. Okay. So we'll go on to our first case then. First case is case 24-01-07. It's at 10050 Ravenna Road, and it's Twinsburg Public Library signage. Could you please come up, state your name, and tell us what you're doing, please?
Good evening, everyone. My name's Tom Yankovich. I'm with Ellett Sign Company at 3041 East Waterloo Road, Akron, Ohio. Tonight we're here to ask your approval to replace the existing sign that's up there now. We intend to use the existing masonry base, and we'll mimic the overall size of the existing sign, including the radius top and almost the header panel. Basically, with the new technology of the electronic sign, we're going from what previous was a 20 millimeter resolution to a 10 millimeter. So it's a higher resolution, more pixels on that given space. The overall physical space has decreased slightly for that type of technology, but we left the overall size exactly the same. The header panel is internally illuminated. It's a heavy gauge aluminum cabinet. It's internally illuminated with white LEDs. The faces are a routed aluminum with a translucent plastic backer. The plastic backer would be a pigmented blue color, which is this color here, and it'll illuminate a very light blue at night. The electronic sign is a Daktronics model. It's a 10 millimeter. The matrix size is 72 by 216, meaning the number of pixels high and number of pixels wide. And that active area of that particular sign is, I believe, 2 foot 5 inches high by 7 foot 3 inches wide. Mm-hmm. And if there's any other questions, be happy to answer them.
Mm-hmm. The one you're taking down is actually one of the first signs we had, electronic signs.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
You were there for that?
I was.
Yeah.
I was.
And we had all kind of rules then.
Yeah. Well, I obviously, because of the way the structure is and how nice that held up over the years, we didn't want to disturb that masonry. So we tried to make even the spacing between the sign and the masonry base the same, mounting methods the same. We just wanted to try to make it clean and easy.
What do you do with the old signs? You just trash them now?
Pretty much, yeah.
They're obsolete.
Yeah,
Or obsolete
there's really no use.
Yeah, no use.
Your TVs and monitors.
There have been a couple signs in the past which we tried to use, but, I tried to sell them for like, $1,000 just to get them out of our lot, and nobody will take them. They're like, forget it. We don't, so.
Right.
No market.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
have, looking at the new sign, there's a small gap between the brickwork and the
Yes.
sign itself. Any concerns about debris collecting in there?
No, I think there was really no issues with that. The gap's wide enough to where any rainwater or snow or whatever will dissipate from there. Yeah, I mean, I think it's like almost 2 inches from the sides.
Yeah, it's not much.
So it's pretty substantial all the way around, but it was made for that airspace, so nothing really gets trapped in there.
David, don't we have some kind of a signage program where these type of electronic signs are not allowed unless it's a school or something? I remember 2 years ago, we were doing something like that.
Well, that's what was going on when this came up the first time.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I
We've
I
moved
think
on.
we rewrote stuff
Yeah.
in there, so, because we allowed this one, and there's others we've allowed, so.
Yeah. I mean, we had a lot of details on what you can do and not do.
There are some, yeah, there are still, I can't remember what all of them are, but there are some regulations that has to do
Yeah.
with the brightness of the light and not
Right,
anything
flashing,
flashing.
yeah.
and-
You guys mind speaking into your mics?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. No, yeah, we have existing regulations about, the flash, how light flashes and how bright it can be.
This one doesn't look like it's gonna be that much of a difference from what it
Yeah,
is
I'm
now, so.
guessing this is probably in the same realm as what's
Yeah.
there as far as
Well-
lumens it projects out.
And here, it is an improvement, and here's a little fun fact for you, is that, the new technologies, when the resolutions are better and better and better, they're actually less bright, because you don't want to push the same amount of brightness or power through, because the pixels are so close together, they tend to get a little blurred. So to the benefit of the community and the city is that it would be less bright than the previous model.
Yeah. Okay.
But even more legible.
And more legible, more pleasing to the eye, correct?
Okay, yeah.
Was that a conscious decision to leave that gap, or was that out of necessity?
A little bit of both. I mean, we wanted to utilize the existing mounting points because the mounting points are
Built
into
in.
the masonry column, into some steel structure within that. So we didn't want to, cut that and get closer. But, it gives you a nice way of removing the sign for any maintenance issues or such as this when you're upgrading to be able to do it in that fashion. So having that gap, and that, back in the day, that gap was a thing. They wanted that airspace. They didn't want it to look real crowded and such, so. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I was just curious,
Yeah.
because the other one doesn't have the gap, so I didn't know if I put in like vinyl,
I mean, the other one,
The current one looks like it has no gap.
no, it definitely has a gap.
It does?
Yep.
It's not showing
There-
up in the
yeah,
picture. And how
it's-
many times have we driven by there?
It
and
should
not
be
noticed?
exactly the same,
Oh,
Okay.
or within a quarter of an inch.
oh, okay.
Oh,
It just looks like there's no gap in the
yeah,
current picture.
it's the picture.
I'm telling you.
I'll move
Oh,
on.
I believe you. I believe
I'm
you.
under
Okay.
oath.
Well, then that makes, okay, then, gotcha, okay.
I'll make a motion that we accept this as presented,
I will second.
approve.
All right. Call for a vote, please.
Mrs. Wales?
Yes?
Mr. Sharma?
Yes.
Mr. Midlick?
Yes.
Mr. Markovitz?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Okay, on to our next case, number 24-01-08. It's at 8093 Darrow Road, and it's, pardon me if I mispronounce this, but Pep Pearl and Fuchs, new commercial building?
Got it.
Is that right?
That's exactly right.
Cool.
Without an easel, I'm just going to use these chairs.
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Conway Padron. I'm here with my colleague Emily Scheffler. We're from Vocon Architects out of Cleveland. And we're very excited to share with you the new global headquarters, of the new headquarters for the North America branch of Pepperl Fuchs. Essentially, Pepperl Fuchs is a German company that does automation. They enjoy very streamlined, very minimal, very clean product. And currently, their facilities are in Twinsburg. They want to stay in this town. They love it. Their workers love the area. They want to expand and create a new building that kind of more fits their kind of more modern approach to their product. And so they're creating this new one-story building that's about 26,000 square feet. It's a very simple sort of project that's been pushed away from the edge of Darrow Road a little bit in order to preserve the tree line as much as humanly possible. And then it's been oriented in such a way to capitalize on the sun gain as much as possible. They're currently going for LEED Gold, And so we're providing shade structures on the southern facade, minimizing the amount of solar heat gain on the east and west facades, and then maximizing your views to the north facade, to the wetlands on the site. The site is a gently sloping site that kind of slopes toward the east. And so the building itself situates in such a way that it kind of straddles and preserves the cut and fill, minimizing the amount of dirt that we're importing or exporting from the site. The building itself is a very simple, streamlined product in itself that kind of plays with the idea of the German precision that Pepperoni Fuchs represents, using very simple materials such as metal panel siding, both an ATOS metaphor system. Emily's going to share the more specific examples of these products, but we have an ACM panel and we have a metaphor product that kind of crisply integrate the building's facade, and we have basically large window walls throughout the project that accentuate the views without kind of hurting the overall solar heat gain. The landscaping of the project is such that the trees kind of march along the facade, marching with the structural column grids in such a way that everything kind of aligns. It's perfectly on a structured grid throughout the entire project. We're very rigorous in that way.
Good, nice.
The control joints and everything align on a very rigorous module, down to our paneling that we're doing on the interior. The interior itself is derived from the global kind of methods that Pepperoni Fuchs have developed in their various headquarters buildings throughout the world. But we're kind of accentuating a little bit further, kind of bringing some touches of Ohio, some touches of the regional area in the different materials, the different woods, the different stones that we're bringing into this. There's a lot more life, there's a lot more green, there's a lot more kind of natural elements on the interior that kind of juxtapose with the kind of more rigid metallic exterior. So you have this very crisp metal box, and on the interior you have this very natural, sort of lovely, sort of open office space.
Very clean lines, I assume.
Yes, oh yeah, very clean lines. Everything is hidden. We have an open ceiling structure, so the structure is exposed, and all the mechanical and the electrical are being tucked up, so you don't really see them at all in that as much as possible in in between the steel joists. The building itself is very small footprint from the road. You don't really see it from the trees at all. There is a planned phase 2 that you can see on the site plan that we've been kind of accommodating in terms of zoning by setting the building back in such a way that we can accommodate the setback for the phase 2 building as well, which further is reason why the building is in its current location. So the phase 2 building, which you see in the white here, is a slightly smaller building, planning for future expansion, as this is going to be their headquarters for their North America branch. They're moving a lot of resources and stuff up from Texas in order to accommodate that. There's a large parking lot just south of the building that has, you can't really see it in this plan very well, but we do have trees and tree islands to provide some shading in that area. And there's a stormwater retention pond to the east of the building that allow for water runoff and collection on site.
Are there any other waste products from the manufacturer?
No. So they're not actually doing any manufacture at this facility.
Okay.
They have mostly office spaces and mostly research and development. So they have 2 labs, primarily used for research.
What is their product?
They do sensor automation. So you see like any like movable doors, any sort of things. They do a lot of the computers and stuff inside those sensors. So it's very small, very technical, very it's hard to expose and exhibit their product very well, but we do have an exhibit space, so we're trying to show off some of their larger, more interesting products. They provide a lot of different things for local manufacturers like Swage Lock and Odie and stuff like that. Different companies that do these sorts of architectural products and stuff. So they're very cued in with a lot of the local manufacturers. And
Okay.
they have a specific color green that is also, you can see throughout the project. For instance, in the signage, they have this tealish green that kind of shows, which is a lot less evident on this building than on their current building. I think on their current building, they have a precast concrete sort of box with the green band around it. We didn't want to kind of cheese it up that much, not to use a weird expression, but yeah. It was a kind of intense look at trying to create a Miesian sort of modernist expression while trying to bring in some Ohio elements to the overall
Yeah,
vernacular.
it's a nice rendition.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
is.
it's nice. Yeah, I was looking over it, and everything looks pretty nice. I like what you're doing with the landscaping around there, keeping a lot of trees.
Right.
I don't know when the second phase is supposed to happen, but, since that's going to be closer to the street, just as a warning, that'll might be more visible from the street. So it's, hopefully it'll pick up a lot of the same features in in what you're proposing, and
I think the hope is
continue
with
it
the
anyway.
future phase that it will be even more pronounced, even more sort of
Right.
Yeah,
aggressively beautiful.
yeah. Are y'all planning on going LEED Gold with that too?
The Pepperell Fuchs has a global initiative to go LEED Gold or above with
Okay.
all of their buildings throughout the world. So they just
That's good.
recently finished a facility in Vietnam where they went LEED Gold. And it's tricky in Ohio to go LEED Gold because you don't get a lot of the solar benefits that you get in Southern California or something like that. But
Yeah.
it's,
But it's a worthy cause to
Yeah.
try to do. I wish more American companies would try to do that. A lot of them they don't want to try to mess with the expense and the trouble with it, so.
yeah, there's a lot of things that LEED kind of misses in terms of environmental concerns and in terms of
Yeah.
material usage that we are trying to capture. We're using a lot of references to German kind of systems of sustainability
Okay.
when we're referencing these things, because our clients are very in tune with these sorts of progressive policies, and we really have to kind of
Yeah.
play with them. And
It's definitely a nice building. I'll look forward to watching it going up.
Yeah, and I mean, what y'all are doing with the elevations, I think mainly, kind of closing off the east and west sides a little bit, and then, of course, the south, you're opening it up, but not like you are the north side, where you're getting your best light from.
yeah, that's the side, the north facade
That's-
is where all the open office spaces are going to be. So that's going to be completely open. Oh, my gosh, I'm sorry. I need to stop gesturing so much with my hands. A little
That's
aggressive.
okay.
But that's going to be the view into those wetlands and stuff, and kind of the topography kind of drops off there, so you're going to get a nice view out over that area as well.
Okay.
You guys already came through planning, right?
Yes, we did, preliminarily, yes.
Well, just to update us, we'll let you go through your materials, show us the,
It's not a big deal.
Just
The
the-
materials, we did bring them with us if you guys wanted to look and view any of them, but the materials in the project, Conway has in his hand the metaphor panel that will be going on the facade, which will be, that side.
Oh, this side.
That has the plastic covering on it right now that we can't take off.
We can take off, it's not so rough.
But as Conway was saying, those fine lines that start to develop on the facade, and then we
Yeah.
will be doing an ACM panel, same color, just a larger grid orientation that is the larger gesture over the entrance to the building.
So these are the two main metal colors,
Well,
Okay.
that one's
the
the
mullion
mullion,
color, and then this is the metal panel color.
so
Okay.
So
charcoal.
it's a little less dark than what the renderings
yeah.
show.
And that doesn't have plastic on it, though, does it?
No, it doesn't. These do
I
not
just
have
wanted to
plastic.
make sure.
Those do not have plastic,
They
correct.
just have scratches from,
Yeah. I mean, the plastic sometimes can dull the look a little bit, where you don't see it quite
Yep.
as finished as it should be.
and at the front entrance, we have Indiana limestone panel
Okay,
as well. That's this gamma stone, which is a manufactured panel.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're familiar with like the barns in Philadelphia, that's all done.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a nice stone.
yeah. And you got a,
So the underside of our soffit in the entrance, that overhang that you guys see will be a white. The underside of this is a white color, just to start to elevate and lift the entrance color. So those are kind of the two dichotomies playing next to each other as you enter the building.
okay. Is the glass gonna be tinted to some degree? What kind of tint's it got? You have a glass?
A Lowy glass, so it has a slight tint, as all Lowy glasses are going to,
Mm-hmm.
but when
Okay.
put up against the dark metal, it
Mhm.
actually starts to fade out a little bit. So this is a really high-performing glass
Yeah,
with a really like high U value, or low U value, high R value.
mm-hmm,
Okay.
So it's
yeah.
a little tinted, but not quite as much as some other Lowy glasses that you see.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice piece
Does
of
that
glass.
reflect green
Yes. Well,
inside? Will that
inside,
also-
no, you won't see it at all. This is very similar to another product that we have on another project, and it doesn't appear green at all when you look at it, especially in the sunlight, because the yellow sun kind of washes out some of the green, and it feels clear.
Just curious.
Yeah, glass is always kind of a strange thing, because when you look at it like this, you just see the edge and you see the green.
Right.
This just feels too green, but
Mm-hmm.
when in a large format, you never notice that.
Yeah, I don't mind the
Then we
green
have a
tint.
spandrel above that.
She'd like the green
Okay.
tint.
So that spandrel would be on the upper portion of this storefront system here, and then also on that storefront system, we have the overhang.
Yeah, we have a slight sunshade device on the southern exposure in order to help self-shade the facade so that you don't have as much lower heat gain. And we've been using a lot of programs in order to make sure that it's sized correctly so that the maximum time on the summer solstice stuff, you don't get any sun.
Yeah.
My daughter does all these renditions a lot.
And you will have a driveway out to Darrow?
No, the driveway actually connects to the connector road
Old Mill?
Old.
down here, the summer.
The Old Mill?
Park Road.
What's it,
Well, the Summit Commerce
Oh,
Road is this
okay.
little tiny road between the pharmacy that's there and our site.
okay,
So we're actually connecting to that road instead.
Okay.
And it's set back in such a way that it doesn't overlap the easements and the access easements for the adjacent property. There's an access easements for both this property here, as well as the future expansion of that property, whoever moves there.
So you have no entrance from Darrow
No, we
Road?
don't.
But the address lists 8093 Darrow Road.
Yes. And our signage is on Darrow Road. So our sign,
To get
Well,
to
you'll be back another time to present signage, or somebody will to us, I would guess.
ownership is doing signage.
Okay.
Yeah. We're just placing it in our plans right now to let them know, but
Yeah.
they're in charge of the signage.
Okay. Yeah, well, at some point, they'll have to come
Okay.
to us with the signage proposal, showing us where they're all located.
Okay.
What they look like. We'll have to run through all that too another time.
Okay.
All right.
just out of curiosity, who do you anticipate using the trails and picnic tables? Employees?
Employees, mostly. The employees of this facility are very active, to the point where they have requested a volleyball court and a basketball court on the site as well, and you can see that in the site plan. But you also get lead points for having connector trails on your site.
Okay.
So that was grabbing at any lead point we can
Yeah.
get to get to
I
that
had
goal.
forgotten that one. I've been retired for about almost, 3.5, 4 years now, so I
Hard to
forget a lot of
believe.
this
Oh, yeah.
stuff.
It changes so quickly, too. I mean, every couple years, they come out with new
Yeah.
rules, and then they just get stricter and stricter.
Okay.
And landscaping proposed is good. I would like to just see a little bit more trees alongside the Darrow Road, if possible. As much trees you guys can cram in this space.
We're preserving all the trees that are there. There's a pretty dense forest along Darrow Road currently.
The one thing that we can put about along Darrow Road is that
So what's all in that setback area, that main, see, now I'm gesturing. So you're talking about all those trees, and they're pretty close to Darrell Road, that, which would probably be in your setback area, is, I guess, where a lot of that tree line is.
Some of the larger ones are where Phase 2 potentially would be, and at that time, we would be planting additional trees, but we don't know when Phase 2 is going to happen. The client doesn't quite know yet. We're just planning ahead,
Yeah.
making sure that we're
That you got a place for it when they're ready.
Exactly.
That you know what's going on, yeah.
Well, you're in a good spot, that's for sure, for these buildings.
I'm okay with it.
Okay, I mean, well, any other questions, anybody?
No, I think it's exciting.
Yeah,
Okay.
nice
You want to
work.
make a motion then?
I'll make a motion to approve as submitted.
Okay, you get a second?
Second.
I like to let y'all motion and
You know,
second.
you can second too sometime.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, call for a vote.
Mr. Sharma?
Yes.
Mrs. Wales?
Yes.
Mr. Midlick?
Yes.
Mr. Markovitz?
Yes.
Thank
All
you
right,
very much.
thank y'all.
And I have to
Did
say,
a
I
nice
miss
job
the
on that.
Louisiana accent.
Yep,
I used to
that's
work at
what it
Trahan
is.
Architects in New Orleans, and
Okay,
I miss it.
yeah, I worked in Monroe, Louisiana.
Okay.
But I did a lot of work down in New Orleans through the years. Even did work when I moved up here. I was still doing work down in New Orleans and through Louisiana.
It's a busy place.
Yeah.
Thank
All
you
right.
all very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, just ignore us while we go on with the rest of our meeting. The next item will be approval of minutes for January 4th, and unfortunately had 2 comments.
Spell
But
check,
I
guys.
think we can, once I tell you what they are, I think we can go ahead and approve the minutes, knowing that those corrections will be made. Both of them are, well, one's a misspelling, one's the wrong word. But on case number 3, bullet number 2, that should be sign and not seen. In the stated the building seen will go right above. It should be building sign, it's just a typo. It came out somewhere. And then on the additional discussion, first bullet, the 1, 2, 3, the 4th line down, and the first word there in that line where it says presidents, it should be presidents. It would be the next to last page, I think,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Additional discussions.
Presidents. Presidents.
That's probably my southern accent getting twisted up on the recording, you know, presidents.
Or spell check, having a mind of its own.
Precedent,
But other than that, I didn't see anything. Did anybody else
No.
I'm
catch any?
not gonna lie, I didn't see those. So I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
yeah.
So we can go ahead and make a motion to approve as corrected,
I'll
or as
second
to
it.
be corrected.
I'll second it.
Okay, so call for a vote then?
Mr. Markovitz?
Yes?
Mr. Midlick?
Yes.
Mr. Sharma?
Yes.
Mrs. Wales?
Yes.
Okay. And now we get to excuse our absent member again.
I'll make a motion to excuse him.
Okay, I'll second.
Who second?
See, I seconded.
Markovitz or Midlick? Oh, Mark. Mr. Sharma?
Yes.
Mr. Markovitz?
Yes?
Mr. Midlick?
Yes.
Mrs. Wales?
Yes.
Okay, and then the only thing from here is adjournment, unless we have any other thing to discuss.
I'll move on that.
I'll second it.
Mr. Midlick?
Yes.
Mr. Sharma?
Yes.
Mrs. Wales?
Yes.
Mr. Markovitz?
Yes?
Okay.